Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The Hollywood Reporter is attacking fandoms. So this will be interesting. Let's dive into it, shall we? From Justice League to Star Wars, studios reckon with toxic fandom. Now, it's important to note a few things about this, I think, like very, very clearly, is that studios have been using these supposedly toxic fandom to their advantage, to their great advantage, in fact. And so have filmmakers. So Zack Snyder, for instance, has been playing to the Snyderverse fans, playing to them, using them as a rallying cry to get things made and things like this. And ultimately, you're all just being used by studios. You're used for publicity, you're used for subscriptions, and then you're dropped. Basically. I think one of the only ones out of this is Disney and Star Wars. Although, in fairness, they did sort of pander to the people. They tried to pander to what they claimed to be toxic fans in The Last Jedi. So that was interesting. But I thought this would be a fascinating dive in. And I can't believe I missed this. Like, this is 2 days old. How did I miss this? So like I said, this is on The Hollywood Reporter, right? And what a title. Justice League to Star Wars. Toxic fandom. Like, Christ alive. Hollywood majors are learning they can't be silent about what happens on social media, but as one rep cautions, if you're speaking out, you have to speak out for everyone. Alright, what does that mean? When we already know from previous Hollywood Reporter articles that studios literally get PR advice pandered to the left. What? So who are you like? What? You can't be silent on who? I mean, it's partisan, isn't it? It's nonsense. When Zack Snyder's Justice League... Oh, we got a Jasper cameo there. When Zack Snyder's Justice League hit HBO Max on March 18th, it marked the culmination of a years-long effort by a devoted group of DC fans to allow the director to finish a film he left in 2017. Along the way, Snyder's fans raised $500,000 for suicide prevention in honour of the filmmaker's late daughter, Autumn, which was great. How are you going to call them toxic? Now, that's nice. Are there toxic parts of any fandom? Yeah, there's arseholes everywhere. Like, you're never going to remove that from society. Sorry, like, hate to break it, hate to burst the bubble, snowflakes, but you're never gonna remove arseholes, right? Ever. It's just a physical impossibility. Despite the positives, a small but vocal segment of that fandom used social media to threaten and harass fellow fans, as well as Warner Media executives they perceived as standing in the way of the cut. Warner Media Studio CEO Ann Sarnoff made waves March 22nd when she condemned such behaviour in an interview with Variety, saying, "I'm very disappointed in the fans that have chosen to go to that negative place with regard to DC, with regard to some of our executives," which, I mean, makes sense. And if you don't condemn people like that, then you are part of the problem. You know, like I did a video where I said, hey, look, some Snyder fans are reviewing negatively Godzilla vs. Kong for no reason, just because of Ann Sarnoff. And it's like, well, one, you make yourself look like an utter dipshit. And secondly, everyone that jumped on that video going, yeah, but it's only a few people. It's like, okay, but you should still call it out. And if you don't, you're part of the problem. Why would you want those people to be associated with you? You know, why are you trying so hard to defend these idiots? Like, it's not good. It doesn't make you look good. Just going, oh yeah, but. No buts. They were doing it. It's crappy behaviour. Tell them it's crappy behaviour. Pretty simple. Anyway, those comments represented a break from the norm of studios publicly ignoring unsavoury elements within fan bases, even as they seek to find new ways to monetize those audiences. I'm very glad the Hollywood Reporter noted that, because again, like I say, they're using you. They're using you. God damn. In years past, Sony watched Trolls attack its 2016 female-led Ghostbusters reboot. No, that was just a shit film. Alright, it was just a bad film. Come on, get real. Why are we still talking about that? Marvel Studios saw Captain Marvel's Rotten Tomatoes scores sandbagged, and Lucasfilm was silent as Star Wars stars John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran endured racist abuse. Well, that's funny, isn't it, Hollywood Reporter? Because John Boyega has since come out and claimed that Disney were the ones that were racist. So, that's interesting. What are you doing? What a bunch of idiots. But Hollywood... I can't believe that. But Hollywood majors are now learning that they can't always remain silent about what happens on social media. Disney's Lucasfilm has been at the forefront of this conversation. In January, cosplayer and host Christina Ariel faced racist attacks and threats after the studio named her host of the High Republic show. No, that's not what happened. She was literally saying anti-white sentiments over on Twitter, i.e. she's a racist. I'm sorry, there's no two ways about it. If you're anti-black or you're anti-white simply because of the colour of someone's skin, pigmentation, you are racist. That is the literal definition of it. So it doesn't matter. Like, you can't just say that and then go, oh no, sorry. Oh, someone clapped back. It's like, you did it for that reaction, didn't you? You did it because you wanted to rile people up. Well, you got it. You know, you wanted to chime in on Twitter and get some controversy. Well, you got it. You can't then claim racism. That's just pathetic. Might as well just bury your head in the sand. Anyway, so moving forward, it says, ahead of the show's debut, previous tweets from Ariel denouncing... It wasn't denouncing systemic racism. Oh my god! Hollywood Reporter, go join the Olympics. Then mental gymnastics are primo. So good. Essentially calling upon white people to own their role in it. Yeah, funny that. Sweeping negative statements about any race due to the colour of their skin, ethnicity, is racism. So you're literally admitting that Christina Ariel was being racist. Oh my Christ. Anyway, so she received numerous threats via social media. Rather than remain silent, Lucasfilm swiftly backed Ariel, stating on Twitter on January 22nd, our Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. We support Christina Ariel. I stand with Christina. Sprung up to support Ariel. Yeah, like with no one, basically. And then, then the Hollywood Reporter got some scholar, apparently, who studied harassment of black women online. Because that's a scholarly venture, I guess. Says a lot of people have been... on their own, managing the backlash of long and deep-seated racist stereotypes alone. And so having the entertainment industry understand that it makes a difference when they come forward and support you is a huge turning point. Funny that. You're not saying anything about John Boyega, though. The claims of Disney. Oh, yeah. What's going on with that? Anyway, whatever. Moving forwards. So this just continues, right? This literally just continues moving forwards. For years, Lucasfilm did not address attacks against its talent, at least publicly. Boyega, again, someone who claimed Disney was racist, like they never say anything about this. Yeah, the studio did not publicly intervene on either's behalf. So that basically, they're just claiming that it's fandoms that are nasty. It's only fandoms. Rather than looking at the studios in any way, shape, or form. Like, what the hell's going on? So a representative says here, you're going to do so much, but if you're speaking out, you have to speak out for everyone. Well, yeah, obviously. That's like a given, surely. Still, many industry observers are more interested in marking the current moment rather than criticising studios for actions not taken in the past. It's necessary to have that tone set in order to make it manageable to ignore those trolls and to put defamatory and hostile attitudes at the margins. Who's an author of Speculative Blackness, The Future of Race and Science Fiction. Interesting. While so-called toxic fans take up an oversized place in the media's and public's imagination, Cinema Blend journalist Sean O'Connell suspects it's a relatively small contingent of fandom. Of course it is. What? These idiots that write these articles, just the worst people. They really are. So O'Connell, who studies Snyder fandom closely, he's a scholar of Zack Snyder's fandom. Good God. Notes that Sarnoff's comments about toxic fandom received little pushback from the community. Instead, it was Sarnoff's comments about Snyder's Justice League universe not continuing after the Snyder Cut that received the most disappointment. Well, yeah, because most people are just like, well, we're not toxic, so deal with it. But also, if he studied it that closely, he would see that there was a lot of videos made about that. A lot of people were pretty pissed, to be fair. If you ignore them, you are silently condoning what they do. I understand the need to have a zero-tolerance policy. Anyway, so continues further and says, in theory, the idea of toxic fandom is paradoxical. Fandoms are supposedly to be places where people find a community, a place of inclusion. In practice, it has often been a different story. Well, that's funny, isn't it? Because then you get the this is the thing I've been saying for ages. We can all have common ground on something. But when you play partisan politics in those things, that's no longer inclusive, is it? Inclusive literally means including everyone, regardless of their political beliefs, and regardless... regardless of any beliefs they hold, whether they're a bigot or not, it doesn't matter, because you all congregate around one thing that you share. You're not going to sit there and listen to someone talk about something completely off subject, are you? And that's why when companies come out and say, I don't know, we support BLM, for instance, right, which is literally a political movement. They have tried to register as a political party, so let's cut the bollocks here. When people say they support that, and it's like, whoa, hold on a minute there, that's clearly something way off the mark from what people had as a common ground there, and now you're literally playing partisan politics, or at least partisan ideology. People are going to go, nah, mate, see you later. That's not inclusive. You are directly excluding people. And the same nonsense comes in. People go, well, you're racist then. No, that's a childlike response. You don't support BLM, therefore you're racist. Utter nonsense. Please, try harder. That's so pathetic. So anyway, like I said, this just continues and continues and continues. And there's not that much interesting in it, really. It's just, what I find fascinating about it is how they're talking about certain things, but they just keep contradicting themselves. It is an absolute joke. I'll leave this link down below so you can take a look at it, because it is very, very funny. But I hope you enjoyed this brief overview, especially the commentary on Disney and Christina Ariel, especially when John Boyega called him out, but they still reference John Boyega. It's like how, the lack of self-awareness is so strong in you, Hollywood Reporter. So bad. But anyway, let me know what you think down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care.